My name is Ian Magley from East Main Digital Marketing, and I am here at LaRosa Chicken and Grill with Enzo Puglisi, the founder and CEO.
Hello, everyone.
We're really excited to be here today. I come from the restaurant industry, and as anybody who's seen our spotlight videos before with our clients, you know that we go through quite a bit and go in depth with our clients and kind of get really into how they started, what they do, and how they do it. And with my background, this is really exciting to be here and be able to speak with Enzo and kind of understand a little bit more about his business, what he's doing, and of course, the most important part is the fact that you're franchising and really starting to grow and explode right now.
Yes, we are. Things are going very well.
Excellent. That's great. So what we're going to do today is just kind of go over some questions, really just discuss, kind of find out more about what you do, how you do it, and what's so great about LaRosa Chicken and Grill. And we're just going to jump right into it, all right?
Hopefully I can relay that message and bring that message out
Absolutely. So we're going to start right off and just kind of tell us a little bit about LaRosa. Tell us about the restaurant itself and how you kind of got into it.
Well, it started early on. I think you're breeded in this business. You don't just become a restaurateur. And my father was in the business himself, and he did very well for himself. At an early age, I lost my father, and but I was able to aspire from him his hard work. And also, I was able to work with him for a while. And believe it or not, as a child, you absorb so much.
Of course.
And I was that hands-on kid. I was always trying to get in between everything. Right. So I learned the trade at an early age. It wasn't chicken. It was, at the time, my father was in the pizza industry, which was it was a booming industry at the time. And later on, as I looked at myself and said, what do I want to do with my life? I figured that restaurant was what I knew best. And I wanted to take that trade that I learned and find a new concept. And we're going back in 25 years.
Oh, wow.
So I was young. I was 18 at the time when I was making the decision. I opened up my first restaurant, which we're sitting in right now, in Marlboro, at 21. And I love the concept of the idea of roasted foods.
Sure.
Being able to make salads and wraps and sandwiches. Back then in the day, my menu already included these items. And it took a little while. People were coming through the front door, looking at the rotisserie setup that you'll see later on. You'll give a tour.
Absolutely.
Looking at the counter, looking at the side, and asking me for a slice of pizza. So I was a little bit upset at the time. Right. It wasn't easy. But as things started to catch on, it really became a wonderful business.
Right.
It took a couple of years because it was the first one out of the gate. The concept was new. And it took a while for people to, really understand and appreciate what we were offering. But with time, it became wonderful.
Okay.
And it's history since. I mean, we opened up multiple locations.
Right.
The concept has been proven over and over again. So that's my history and how I got into this field. It wasn't by accident.
Right.
It might have been better, but it wasn't by accident.
That's often how it happens in this industry. But you know what? It's worked out, and that's great. So right now we want to kind of just talk a little bit about about the restaurant industry, right? So you're looking for entrepreneurs, you're looking to grow, you're looking for franchisees.
Yes.
Why don't we kind of talk to them or the audience a little bit about what's the best part of being a restaurant owner?
The best part about being a restaurant owner, the reason it took me a few years to come up with a concept, because from day one, I wanted to grow a company. I didn't want to just build a mom and pop restaurant and stop there. So the vision was to create something on a large scale. As I was working in the restaurant industry, I realized that going back when I used to work with my uncle, he would come and reinvent the wheel every morning.
Okay.
Let me change the sauce, or let me do the dough differently. I kind of learned on what not to do when you own a business.
Sure.
And I think you learn from bad mistakes better than good things. So it's the bad lessons in life, I think, that teach you the most and you never forget them. So watching this process and watching my father and my uncle bicker really taught me a lot. Not only how to manage people, but also how to manage your restaurant and how important it was to have a system set in place.
Absolutely.
So my first thing was to set up a system, have everybody sectioned off, know which employee has what responsibilities. So in essence, what I'm trying to tell you is restaurant business can be very complicated.
For sure.
It's very gratifying. We took the complication out.
Good.
We set those standards. We've proven those standards. We've simplified the model from day one, and we've kept perfecting it since, so that someone who owns or invests in a LaRosa will be able to benefit from those things that we learned, those standards that we implemented, and the procedures that we do,
Excellent.
all to simplify the investment process and to make it a successful entity.
Excellent, great. That sounds great, and certainly anybody looking into a LaRosa Grill or kind of joining you guys, knowing that you have that in place, and now you've over multiple locations now, that's where the comfort level is so important.
Most definitely, most definitely.
So tell us a little bit about what anybody who's watched our spotlights before knows that love to talk about some of the stories, right? Some of the stuff when you first started, or some of the things that really stick in your mind.
Oh God, if I knew what I know today when I
Right.
first started, I wouldn't even have done this place.
Yeah.
Bottom line,
Right.
I didn't know I was going against all odds.
Right.
But you know what? With God's blessings, and I'm a firm believer of the mistake is not the problem. It's not learning from the mistake.
Sure.
If you want to have a better outcome, you have to change what you're doing wrong.
Of course.
So if there's any humor in that, there's a lot of things that I was doing wrong at the time.
Sure.
But there was a lot of things I was doing right also.
Right.
So, but oh God, there are endless stories, but there's one that particularly
Good.
stands out, and it's not even about the restaurant so much, but about bad weather. And I came in here one morning. It was a storm 10 years back. We got a blizzard in Jersey. It's most likely the worst blizzard we got.
Okay.
And I was reluctant to close, of course, like every business owner is. So I came in the morning. I had my staff, and it started to snow terribly because the news always overrates a snowstorm, right? So I said, it's just another bluff.
Right.
Well, it wasn't a bluff. It was the real deal. So I sent all my staff home, worried that they wouldn't get home. They get home, but at the time I had my mother-in-law visit me from Italy. I had my wife at the time with me, and they both wanted to strangle me because we got stuck in the restaurant all night. We did a camping here.
Wow.
We turned on the rotisserie, had some chicken. At least we weren't shy of food.
That's right. That's for sure.
But we literally spent the whole evening in the restaurant till the next morning of daybreak, till the afternoon, till someone could literally come and get us. So that's a story I think I'll never forget.
Oh,
but
sure.
it's the dedication that I had
That's
to
exactly
be where I am today.
That's exactly
So
it.
those are one of the stories that I think I
That's a great
still
one.
can
That's a
chuckle
good
at.
one. Yeah, no, those are great. I love hearing those different stories from the different businesses, and something like that is perfect because number one, it shows your dedication, like you said, but also pride and ownership and being here and making sure that you can do everything you can, of course, to take care of your guests, take care of your clients, your customers as well.
Most definitely.
So, kind of taking another step or a different step is, what's the hardest part of being a business owner, being a restaurant owner, but also really a business owner?
Well, yes, I agree. Business is a business. Restaurants sometimes are a little bit more detailed in the sense of timings. We're open 7 days a week,
Right.
and it's that's the downside of a business that maybe is open. But I find that whenever you have your business, you're always 24/7 thinking
Sure.
about the business.
Sure.
So if I had to say that's a downside of a business, it's the downside. Yes, you always have that responsibility, and you have to always be on that go. You are the example. So if you come all stressed out or upset, you need to leave that at the door. You need to come in with that positive attitude every day.
Sure.
And sometimes it's not so easy to do. But I think that's the biggest downside. I think there's a lot more positive than there is downsides to having your business.
Absolutely. So let's kind of go into that positive a little bit. You went over quite a bit before, but especially as you're growing, what's the most gratifying part with seeing your brand, something you started growing and starting to bring in some new people to kind of help you grow and help you bring that to your next level?
The biggest gratification is being that I'm here for a quarter of a century, is seeing a young individual come through the door that came with his parents.
Sure.
And they're young individuals themselves asking to invest into the brand because they grew up on the brand. That's very gratifying.
Sure.
Seeing satisfied customers, guests, they're family at this point. They've been with me for so long. I would only want to refer to them as customers. The LaRosa family is what I call them. Once we wheel them in and we get them hooked on our food, they become family.
That's perfect.
So getting the comments that they make, the wonderful comments, and seeing how they've been coming here for 20 years, how they say it helped me a lot. as I was a working mom, and I was able to come here and get a fully nutritional meal that I can put on the table for my family. LaRosa's been there for me, or the individual that's been, we have a few schools around here, superintendents, teachers, what have you, and they literally come here 3-4 times a week, if not more. The service industries such as the Marlboro Police Station, the cops here have been wonderful to us. They come here on a regular basis.
Excellent.
They've supported us and spread the news of LaRosa, and they're always thankful, and we're more grateful to them than we are than we can ever be. So all these things put together is what makes it very gratifying. It's a nice business. It's a fun business.
Oh, absolutely.
People come here to step away, even if it's just 10 minutes away from their hectic day, get a bite to eat, and we make. Thank God they like our food.
Of course.
So they're happy to have our food, and they walk out of here with a really nice aura and a nice being content, and that makes you happy and satisfied. So it's a fun business.
Excellent. And also being able to do that, like you said, with some of the local, police and teachers, being able to do that in multiple towns and be able to continue to provide that must be very gratifying as well.
Most definitely. To give back to the community is always nice. And to see them appreciate it is just amazing.
Excellent.
So I have no words for that.
So I live near your Madison location. So I've been, I know your food quite well. What's one of the most impressive pieces is the reviews that you have at all of your locations. And if anybody has a chance, who's watching this, a chance to kind of see some of the reviews on Yelp or whatever it might be, they're unbelievable. And be able to do that at multiple locations and when you're growing, is really impressive. And so kind of let's talk about that a little bit. What are the key pieces for anybody looking into a LaRosa or kind of being a franchisee? Why should somebody, the reviews are great and the food's great, we know that, but what are some of the other key pieces that somebody should know about the business and how do you provide that great service and food?
Well, there's two parts to that. One, having that neighborhood feel where you train your staff to greet a person when they come in, simple behavioral ethics that I was grown with. I mean, my parents instilled that in me heavily. Here at LaRosa, we do that. We greet our customers. We have that genuine feel of we're grateful to see them. I tell my guys all the time, without the customer, without our guests, we don't exist. There's no purpose for us. They come first. Everything else is secondary. So that's a very big philosophy that I preach. I follow myself, and I think you have to believe in what you do. And when you do that, and you continuously show that through your actions, everybody just kind of falls in place. So throughout the company, everyone has that attitude.
That's great.
That I accept nothing less of that kind of perception. The other part of it is what I was telling you before is the good food, but keeping the good food consistent. There's nothing worse when you go to a place and you're expecting a certain flavor and it's altered. That completely, shy you down to wanting to ever go back to that place again. So we made sure that we set in standards and procedures, and we have our signature line of food that we have only for LaRosa. We have our signature sauces, our signature marinades, our seasonings, our side dishes that make LaRosa LaRosa. It's not like it's just chicken. It's a particular flavor you're getting from the chicken. Our renowned mac and cheese, our sweet mashed potato, our string beans and long garlic. And there's a certain standard that we set and a certain procedure to follow it, which makes it very simple for the end user to use. And our signature items are provided for them, made fresh. So it's never something that's canned but we have supplying them with that, so it takes off that weight off the back end for the restaurateur, not to become a chef per se. So it simplifies the concept and it keeps that consistency throughout the whole company.
That's perfect. So they can focus on running their business. They can focus on bringing in new customers. And what you provide is that
the back end of the house, the standards, the procedures, how to maintain that, and also how to run that front end of the house, which is so important.
Oh, absolutely.
Very important.
That's great. That's awesome. So, that's really it that I had for today. As anybody who clicked on this, either below or on the side, you'll see a link to set up a schedule call with Enzo or one of the franchise growth team, really, to be able to help through any questions you might have in regards to franchising or the overall opportunity.
Most definitely. They can reach me directly at VP at LaRosaGrill.com.
Excellent.
That's VP at LaRosaGrill.com.
Excellent.
And also we have the LaRosa website that we always look at. There will be a section there that they can click on if they're interested in a franchise, and they can reach us through there, and however's more convenient for them.
So that was VP at LaRosaGrill.com. They have a franchise website that's very specific. And what's the website itself, the main website?
LaRosaGrill.com.
Perfect. So any of those you can get into. You can see all the different locations, the locations that are coming soon, and also set up a time and an opportunity to speak with Enzo himself and kind of go over, where they're going and what's happening just in general. It's just a great concept. I love being here. The smell is phenomenal. I'm starving right now, I'll tell you that much.
Well, you're having lunch sooner or later, so
absolutely.
You're not leaving here without eating.
Great. Any last words that you kind of want to provide to anybody out there?
Well, if they're looking for an investment, and they're excited about food and a concept that is fun and gratifying, and of course a great investment on your return for your investment. LaRosa is a great opportunity for them to inquire within and hopefully to pursue it through.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Once again, you'll see multiple places to click and find out more. And this has been great, Enzo. I appreciate it, and it was great speaking with you.
It was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you guys very much, and we'll hopefully see you on our next Spotlight.